Hey folks, welcome to the channel. My name is Patdees. The channel is Patdees, the traveling picker, and I want to talk about something serious today, and really give you guys, if you have been following me, and not everybody knows, but I've been battling cancer, and just seems so weird to even kind of say that, but I'm actually over. Let me flip the phone here. I'm over. I'll show you guys a little bit what I'm doing. I'm over. I made a video on the channel about reselling, and someone saw I had these car books, and I said, look, this is what I want plus shipping. And they said, well, can I buy some at a time? And they did, and they just sent me another $150, and I never got these listed. And I did the flea market last week, and it's getting emptied out. I know it looks sloppy and stuff like that, but it's getting emptied out, and that's the important thing. But it's never easy. I come in and something's leaking, a box is toppled over, and I'm like, I can't. I came over here to record the video in peace and silence, and I'm having to pick up things. So, all right, let me flip it around and share my story and my update. Okay, welcome back. I do appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to this video, and I think it's really important, and I'm going to talk about basically it's kind of ironic with what I'm going through and the tie-in actually to reselling, and twice actually the tie-in. So I've had people reach out to me and say, hey Pat, is there anything I can do to help you? Sometimes, do you need anything? The best thing that you guys can do that doesn't cost you nothing is listen and watch the whole video and comment below. Comment below if you want to share a story, and I'd greatly appreciate it. That helps. That helps. For everybody that watches, I get a penny. So, honestly, if 1,000 people watch, what am I gonna get? 1,000 people, $10. Yeah, I'll get $12 approximately. The longer you watch, it's sometimes a penny and a half. So that helps. And another way, and I forgot to bring them with me, is let me go back first of all. Why is he recording from a sloppy storage unit? Well, this is what I do for a living, and because of health issues, I sell on Amazon, eBay, and now Whatnot in the past basically year. A little over a year and a half, but about the last year. I feel a sneeze coming on. Damn it. Come on. Is it? I wanted to stop somewhere. I wanted to stop somewhere at a picnic table, and I told you, I felt a sneeze coming on. Must be the dust in here. Sorry about that. Not going to be too much editing. I wanted to do this a couple days ago, but I'm here in Pennsylvania, and we've been having heat, but I don't mind the heat as much. I don't like the cold as much. Now, the humidity, and you got to keep yourself dehydrated. It's very important, but we're having a heat wave, I guess, across the United States. And yesterday, I live about 20 miles east of Scranton, Pennsylvania. And right now, I'm actually about 8 miles east at the storage unit that I'm at right now, and picking up those books. Going to drop them off at UPS. I just got to get a box together. But I went over to Lowe's and picked up a couple boards, and I was going to sit on a picnic table. I came out, and some guy sitting over smoking at the picnic table underneath a tree. So, wasn't going over there. And then I was like, yeah, the camera won't be right anyway. So I have the camera stacked up on a little mini stack of charcoal briquettes that I got from. In case you're wondering where this stuff comes from, I buy liquidation pallets, and But reselling is a tough grind. So last August, it was actually in July, but I think I made the video in August. Yeah, actually, it was end of June. So the end of June, a friend of mine in New Jersey, Mike, and this is where I'm going with this. he reached out to me and said, "Hey, Pat, I got some. There's a place down here that you can wholesale some. They do auctions." And he goes, "Why don't you bring down?" And I filled up a U-Haul van, and I took down approximately 2 pallets. He bought some stuff was sold there, and but it was around. It was actually around the week, if you guys are familiar, where the gasoline truck caught fire underneath the bridge overpass and burnt the damn road and collapsed. 95 was shut down for a while, and they had a hell of a mess there going through Philadelphia. So I had to go down that way actually to go into New Jersey and deliver this stuff. So I delivered the stuff. I loaded the van myself and took it down, and my back was bothering me. So about a week later, I go to the emergency room and I said, "Hey, I wonder if I have a kidney stone or and they do, no, you're fine, and just take basically Tylenol or ibuprofen." And I think I even did a CAT scan. I don't remember exactly every little point of that. I mean, I'd have to look up my medical records, but it was still bothering me, and I'm like, man, I really wrenched my lower back, and some things were heavy. There were some heavy boxes, so I attributed it to that. And like a week later, I said, the hell with it. I'm going to go back to the emergency room again at Geisinger, and that's where I go. And I'm sitting there, and oh, what a fiasco in the waiting room. So they bring me back, and they do an x-ray. Then they take me in the back, and I hadn't eaten all day, and I hadn't had any pain pills. And I am there, no lie, 8 hours. And no doctor sees me then. And I hear these employees laughing in the distance. Like, I'm like, wow, these guys are goofing around. I mean, look, I know at work it's better to laugh than to cry. And I get it. But I was just annoyed by the whole situation. So I said to the guy, came in, I said, "What's going on? You told me like 2 hours ago. Oh, there's not, basically, they didn't want to tell me the truth. They really didn't have enough help." So pulled out the IV, and I said, "Look, I got food and pain medicine at home. I'm leaving." So it's weird because I had an appointment because I had cancer 8 years ago. So I had said, she goes, probably nothing to do with that, just go over and and she made it sound like since I was already over there at the cancer center, just go over and they're going to magically see me faster. No, I waited 8 hours. So me and my wife decided to go. I think it was on a Friday at like 5 o'clock, and get a call. And, "Hi, is this Patrick?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And sorry to tell you, but we're going to need you to do a CAT scan tomorrow, and we think you have cancer from the x-ray. And I was in the middle of eating a hamburger, and I just, and I said, "Can you talk to my wife?" And my wife, and I just started bawling my eyes out. And and when you hear that, and I had breast cancer before, 8 years ago, and I had a full left side mastectomy. I did 41 rounds of radiation, and I was on tamoxifen for 5 years. And they said it metastasized to your lungs, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And it was terrible. It was the worst news I ever got. And God, it's even when I'm thinking about it now, like, wow. So the next day, I go for the CAT scan, and right away they got me in, and said, "All right, well, we're gonna take we see stuff." And in hindsight, I get my wife's cousin was a nurse, and they didn't share all the details with me, and I knew my wife knew a little bit more, worried about I was going to be upset, knowing how upset I was, and sleep very well. So they said, "Well, we're going to bring you in for a biopsy, and we're going to go into your lung." And It's weird because you always think of your lungs in the front, but they can go from the back. So I had to lay in, and they put this long needle in my back, and went into, and I had tumors in both lungs, and sure enough, I have cancer, and I have male breast cancer. So I had it before 8 years ago. I thought I was done. They cut it out and radiated me, and thought it was over, and just to get male breast cancer is only like 1% of all breast cancer. So approximately 200,000 women get breast cancer a year, and about 2,000 men get it a year. So obviously when you know that cancer's spreading, you're like, the hell, what did I do? I don't smoke, I don't drink. And then one of the worst things I did is I went to Google, and Google had me dead within 5 years, and surviving 5 years for females was like 30%, but for men it was 19%. And sucked. And I actually didn't really fully know. This happened at the end of June. I did the test in July, and then in August is when everything was confirmed. My wife knew a little bit more in July, and we had someone offered us a free stay down in Myrtle Beach. So I went down there, and she didn't tell me, and she knew. And when we went in August, my oncologist that I've had before said to me, yeah, you got, breast cancer in your lungs. And my wife said, yeah, I knew. And I'm like, you knew? Like, why didn't you tell me? And I was a little upset with her, but I understood why knowing that I was devastated. I mean, probably for 4 months, I was just a mess. And prior to that, and unfortunately, we kind of ran into a situation. I was going back to the reselling. I was listing every day on eBay, and then we had a little bit of a family problem. My sister-in-law needed some help and was going through a divorce and needed a place to stay, and we were helping her, and I got that happened real mid-May, and then June, July, and August. So last summer was like I wasn't thinking about reselling, and even though I still was doing eBay orders and stuff like that, it was really tough the first couple months, and damn it, that damn Facebook, they watch what you Google, and every damn ad was about this cancer, that cancer, and then I found out there's like 400 different kinds of cancer. And you hear a lot about chemo's no good. Sometimes chemo will only give you 3 or 4 months of your extra of life, and if it's wow. And even as I'm thinking about it now, and I'm not getting emotional. I'm not. Because now I've been dealing with it close to a year, and wow. So again, if you guys, and none of this is written down, this is off the cuff. If you guys want to help me continue to watch the video today, or another option is about 8 years ago, and that's where, before I forget, I was going to bring the t-shirts. About 8 years ago when I used to be in the restaurant business, and we were a big part of giving back to the community at Christmas time, and we helped our neighbor with a fire. We gave over $40,000 out easily in cash, not including free food over a 10-year span. So people came to me, and a lady said to me, hey, my daughters are part of the Girl Scouts. They want to do something and do a car wash basket Chinese out front one Saturday. I'm like, no, I don't want. I'm like kind of embarrassed, and male breast cancer and this and that, and I'm like, but we were behind the 8 ball, and So shirts were made up. Fight for the one, and I was behind to help with the design. Fight for the one, blue ones for the guys, pink ones for the girls, but whoever wanted to wear it. But fight for the one, male breast cancer. We even had a website, and I thought when I was done with it, I would actually help other people, but we lost the restaurant. We had to close it a couple years later, and actually about a year and a half later, we just couldn't do it no more. My health, and then the winter up there, it was brutal. So anyways, they raised about $4,000 locally, and then some of the people that I went to school with said, hey Pat, why don't you do a GoFundMe? I'm like, no way. Even though like, oh, you donated, I've donated something to 32 GoFundMes and so far. And I always feel to give back and be good to others, and there's like, we can't come up to the restaurant this day, and it's like, all right, and I did, and they raised $4,000 at the Girl Scouts did, doing the and we were extra busy actually at the restaurant. So the fundraising part was $4,000, and they gave us $4,000, and the GoFundMe did $3,000. From basically 90% of that came from people that I live an hour 15 minutes north of where I grew up, and people that I went to school with and friends down there donated. So that was $7,000. So I was very appreciative, and it actually paid a month of our mortgage at the restaurant, which was $6,000, and our home mortgage is $1,300. So it basically paid a month's worth of mortgage, which was a big help. But as you could see, talking about, we had a big overhead running the restaurant. It was about $25,000 a month with everything. That's before we even made money, and 5-6 months out of the year we didn't even make money. So I have leftover shirts that been up in the attic because we made like 120 of them, and over the years, like if you get it, and so when the restaurant closed, and that's where I'm going with this, I had been selling on eBay part-time, but I'm like, what am I going to do? No one, no one's going to hire me. I have this cancer issue. I had some heart issues. People said, why don't you get disability? I'm like, I don't want disability. And then some people said, you can't even get disability because the last 5 years of the restaurant, I wasn't even paying myself because I didn't want the burden of the extra taxes. My wife was working. She was making some tips at the restaurant, and we were just getting by. I mean, we had an advantage eating food from the restaurant, so our grocery bill at home wasn't big. That was sort of part of the pay. And our electric wasn't that much at home because we were at the restaurant all the time. So when we had closed up, it's the wind blowing a piece of paper. I thought there was a bug flying around. So when we had closed up, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do? My wife got involved. Before we had the restaurant, we used to own Subways. So my wife got back involved in running Subways, and she's still doing that. She's doing very well, and I actually wish we probably would have done it earlier because she's getting paid more there than we were making at the restaurant. How, crazy is that? But I had went on YouTube, and I used to only watch videos on YouTube, and I said, I'd like to do a YouTube channel just to keep myself busy and play music, and and then I realized the copyright, you couldn't do that. And I typed in reselling, and it knew that I had typed I breast cancer, and all of a sudden Scott the Bearded Picker channel came up because he was going through it with his wife with breast cancer at the time. And at the time, he had sold that Monopoly game, and his video exploded. So it crossed, put us together. And I was in the chat, hello, told him who I was, and this and that. And he's like, oh, wow. It was to find a man that kind of talk about it, went through it. I'm sweating here, but I'm not complaining because it beats shoveling snow. But he said, "Oh, why don't you come on? He used to do a live and talk about it, share your story." I'm like, okay, so I'd be a guest, but I was quiet a lot of times because it was his show. I didn't want to be a loudmouth or overtalk him, and then not. But I always had an open invite to go on his channel, and he finally said to me one day, and I didn't know what videos to make. I had bought a storage unit. I had done some entrepreneur, but really didn't realize the scale of reselling, what it could turn out to be. And he said to me, Pat, you should start doing your own lives. And I did. I started doing Within 6 months, I got monetized on YouTube, and I could make money. I mean, I had 1,000 subscribers and had the watch hours, and I would do 2-hour lives and invite, in the reselling community, I'd invite guests on that were bigger channels. But what was happening sometimes when I was writing on these channels, they really weren't sharing my stream out. So, I would get them people to subscribe to them and stuff, and I'd get some super chats from it, so I'd make a little bit of money, but Google takes 30% of it. I think the best one I did was when I did Harry Tornado on, and I think I made $100 or something on that show. But so, and I know I'm getting a little off track of the cancer, and I will promise you I will come back around to that. But I was finding some not so nice people on YouTube, and I wanted to be sweet, and when I was the boss of, we had 3 Subways, we sold them, did the restaurant, over like 20 years, I had 800 employees. A lot of them worked 3-4 years at a time. And I always felt that I was good with dealing people. I was in a position that I could make choices, fix things, and give back. And it was I guess I was vulnerable, and naive. And people were like, "Oh, I love you, Pat, I love you." And I remember telling one lady, "Yeah, I love you too, you're beautiful." And, "Oh, I admire, good guy." And a year later, that got turned into something ugly that basically, "Oh, you're lustful for this lady." And I was like, "What?" And it was a big turnoff. And then I'm like, well, you know what? I can't do music. I don't know if interviewing these people live is worth it, because, man, the more you get to know people, sometimes the less you like. And I have to sell cards, then I got criticized for that. And then all of a sudden, it all happened around this time. Kobe got killed in the helicopter crash, right? And COVID happened. So COVID pushed the Kobe news. And I'm just I give you the timetable. Kobe has nothing to do with the cancer or reselling, but this is the timetable that I remember. And all of a sudden, I'm doing Instacart, I'm trying to sell things on eBay. I'm doing okay, but not setting the world on fire. And my wife is still doing her job, and we're just getting by. And I had to have 2 more surgeries on my left side because I developed a hematoma. And the guy's like, that'll go away probably in 2 years. And it didn't. I had like a bulge in here, and it hurt sometimes, laying on it. And so they opened it up and took it out, the hematoma, and they left it open to heal from the inside out. I went into a hyperbaric treatment. Oh, I hated that. And I said, never again. I did that once, and I said, nope. It was being in a coffin. And I said, to hell with that. And so wound up going back and had 4 surgeries, actually. And then I even had surgery on my stomach. I had a little bit of a mass right underneath my belly button. And that was misdiagnosed by a doctor. And that turned out to be non-cancerous, thank God. And I'm like, man, I'm doing Instacart. And people are asking me, Pat, can you find this? Can you find that? And all of a sudden, a guy reaches out to me, Adam, my friend Adam, and says, Pat, I got this soap and sanitizer. And he goes, I can't sell it. I don't want my account to get in trouble because I have a long, I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, and you're probably only going to be able to sell it for a week online because they're banning everybody. I said, why are they banning? And he says, well, people are selling like $20, or like they're selling $5 bottles for 20. I said, well, why would they do that? And, people are paying. So I said, well, I'm going to sell, okay, I'll sell some. And I did. I sold probably about $700, $800. I was selling them by the case, $70 for a whole case. And I think it was $20 delivered. I basically was making $2 a bottle. And I'm after fees, I made $20 on a case. I wasn't price gouging. Yes, I was making money, but I was like, so I'm like, oh, all of it. And I said to Adam, I don't, have any money. And he says to me, don't worry about it. Pay me when you sell them. So I sold them, and then I got blocked, and I went door to door and sold them. I actually should do a video talking about that because that year was tremendous, what I did in 9 weeks. So that's what happened. So then that was this, and that's why I'm telling you a little bit about that story. That was really the wake-up call that reselling could be a good opportunity for me, not to get rich, but make $400-500 a week profit and be from home. If I had health issues or things going on, if I had to take a break a day, it didn't matter. So I got into buying liquidation pallets and took that stuff down to the guy and Mike, and this is where we ran into last year about the cancer. So now, where am I at today? Good news, but not out of the woods news. Does that sound right? I started treatment right away in August. Now I'm on 3 pills a day and a shot a month. The day that I found out, I remember eating it. I never finished that hamburger because I made it, even though I was finding negative stuff on Google. And at the cancer centers, they don't put you with a nutritionist. They want you to talk to someone about depression, or if you're going to die, how do you feel about that? And I was really turned off by that. I was really like, wow, I wanted someone to kind of, and I got in the car and I made the video last year because I just wanted to talk to somebody. And without hearing something back or negative, and I made the video. I mean, I think I looked like hell, a little rough, and was sad, and even I was like, ooh, yeah, I was not in a good spot. So I started the treatment, the first pill 2 weeks later, and then the second pill that take 2 a day, I started that like 3 weeks later. Now, what was encouraging is the oncologist said, Pat, the breast cancer is easier to treat in your lungs than it is lung cancer. And I was like, okay, that's encouraging. But again, you go on to Google, and the problem, and they said to me, it's an individual. And she says to me, oh, you're strong, you'll fight through it. Didn't say you'd beat it, but you'll be okay. Pretty much. And well, I'm pretty sure they're not going to say you're going to drop dead in 2 months, but to me, it was a death sentence. And it was devastating. I mean, I struggle. I mean, I don't want to use the word depressed. I was just sad. I'm like, I was only 51 years old. I just turned 52. And here I have metastatic stage 4 breast cancer. And I'm like, what the hell did I do? What did I do? Like, I was mad too. Like, and I was mad that the first time they sent me away, and 10 days later, me being persistent to go back, that it was found. Because it's ironic, through reselling, and this is where it ties into the channel even, talking about my life, is I'd be walking around right now and probably not even know it. And once it gets even farther and spreads and bigger, it's harder the earlier you catch it, the better. I did the PET scan. Obviously, I didn't like what right away it dropped off 10%, but there's too many to count. I was like, oh, but the 3 largest ones were about the size of a peanut. And I'm like, holy shit, like, and, they did say to me that, not all medicine works. Cancer's a sneaky thing. And I started taking one of the pills, and it just came out in development by Eli Lilly about 5 years ago. It had been in clinic. I even looked up clinical trials, like maybe I'll go to Florida, and then I kind of had to like, okay, just pull back, relax, because you do that, they'll pay for it. That's the thing, is cancer treatment is very, very expensive, very expensive. I know people say, oh, they don't want to, cure for cancer because there's no money. There's money in the treatment, but there's still going to be money in the cure, because they're going to, from what I understand, there's 400 different kinds of cancers, and 10 million people worldwide die of cancer. I mean, you think about that, 10 million, 20 years, that's 200 million people. Someone just recently said, oh, 40% of people, well, not 40% of people ain't going to get cancer. Come on. That would be, at that rate, the United States, everyone would, in 2.5 years, would, over the, 300 million, there'd be nobody, or there'd be almost 2 point some billion across the globe. I was like, I don't know, where sometimes people come up with those numbers. But I made it a mission, and this is why, and this is a little lengthy, I apologize, because this is not a cancer channel. And I'm not going to make videos every month talking about it. I'll get paid the 1 cent, the 1.5 cent for this video for you to watch, but I'm not going to create another channel and have to try and then do it for not to even get the penny and really, talk about it. I want to basically share my story as a reseller. I got cancer. This is what's happening. This is an update. Because I tell you, watching cancer videos, and I have, and there's a lot of negative comments in there, or sometimes people make videos at the end of life, and very sad, and that's not what I want this to be about. I want it to be a positive experience, and that's why I waited almost a year to really. And I'm so happy, and I've always been grateful for life, because not having a good family background and wanting to give, and I realize it's short term, and I did 3 PET scans, and I've been doing, and there's side effects. I mean, the fatigue sometimes, the aches, the gastric issues, the hair, the hair issue. I only have to cut my hair like 3 times a year now instead of versus 6 to 8 times. I used to lift weights years ago, and I used to trim my arms, no more, because that hair grows so slow. I mean, and then you start scratching and itching, and no. So I made it a mission to also change the way I eat. I did a lot of research in because I said to myself, well, what happens if I can keep cancer at bay, but yet I have heart issues? And I just recently went for, and my heart, and I'm on blood pressure pills, but my blood work actually is better. I have a little bit of cholesterol, and I realize high triglycerides go high from actually eating too much fruit. I mean, I was never a big sugar eater, but actually lately now with the summer, I am consuming more fruit, and that kind of drives that up a little bit. So I'm going to see the heart doctor next week, and we're just going to keep an eye. And but overall, man, right now I feel the best I have since starting this cancer journey. The first already within a month, in my PET scan showed that I had a 10% reduction in tumor size. 5 months later, it said I had a 35% reduction. Now I just had another PET scan at 11 months later, and it says I have a 50% reduction. Now, I honestly don't know if that's 50% from 6 months ago, because it kind of sounds like it. So I could be down, honestly. I could be down, 10, 35. I'm not down 95%, but anywhere, I'm down 50 to 70%. What was this? Considering the size of a peanut is now like smaller than a pea. So it's definitely, and it's not spreading. The only thing I'm having a little problem with, the thyroid's a little bit, but I think that comes from eating broccoli and drinking too much green teas, which are good at fighting cancer. But, it's like sometimes you do one good thing and it causes another issue. So I don't eat so that's the good news. My cancer treatment is working. And again, I'm glad you're watching. And I'm going to put up here those T-shirts I have that were in the attic. And I said to myself, well, Pat, people said they want to help you. I don't want to ask for no free money. If you want to help me, go to my eBay store and buy something, or buy one of these shirts. I have 26 left. And I did sell some books and shirts about 4 or 5 years ago, and I had about $800-900, and I ran across 2 people that had cancer, that I knew someone in the reselling community, and I took all that money and I donated it to them. I donated the $900 to those two people, and I closed that bank account, because what happens is with those type of things, when you got to report it to the government, and they want to, if you don't do it right, they want to charge you for an account. I'm like, well, I'm giving away money, and you guys want to I'm like, nah. So, you know, I have those, I had these shirts, and I said to myself, I said to my wife the other day, they're not doing nothing. If I, $10, it's $5 for shipping, and you know, eBay's going to take like $1.50. But there, I have 26 left, and I put it on eBay so that the sizes, so not that 9 people said to me, I need a size large. I don't have one large. I might only have 2 medium. The sizes will be there. They're pink or blue. One thing, another positive, I'm down 65 pounds, and I feel so much better. I actually feel pretty damn good. I really do. The stomach issues will always be there, taking these pills. And someone said to me the other day that my wife went to work, and the co-manager said, "Oh, Pat, are you of the gas station part? My wife is the boss of the subway part. Are you gonna go back?" And like, no, I'm not going. I'm gonna live with this the rest of my life, and I'm just happy to live. So I'm on the good side of it. It's working. It's not spreading. It's shrinking. What happens is the 2 medicines I take kill the estrogen and the proestrotron. I'm not saying it quite right, that second one. It's a long word. And I was making too much of those. So that's what feeds that. So chemo actually wouldn't help me because my tumors were driven by those 2 fuels. And, you know, like a woman, they could take ovaries out, but, you know, obviously I don't have no ovaries. I know some of the smart asses that know me said, "Yeah, are you sure, Pat?" So that all had to be squashed, and so that wouldn't be the fuel to keep them growing. The other pill I'm on actually is supposed to get inside the tumor and shrink it and stop it from splitting and spreading. And happy to say it's working. I do have to take another medicine to kind of calm my stomach, and you know, watch. Fruits are good for me, but they're not good for me in moderation. I eat a lot of salad. I eat chicken. I eat sardines, olive oil. It's not all sardines, but I don't eat red meat. I don't eat hamburger. I don't eat nothing from a fryer. No French fries. No McDonald's. No Wendy's. If I go to Wendy's, I'm getting a salad. I don't eat croutons, but I eat garlic. I eat onions. I eat cucumbers. Healthy stuff, and I honestly feel it's, first of all, it's helped me lose weight, which is better, because, okay, you hold off cancer, but then you die of a damn heart attack, or, you know, or let's say in the future, oh, we want to do surgery, but you're obese, you know, and I still want to lose. I'm at my lowest weight I've been, even the first time 8 years ago. I'm lower than even that. Unfortunately, I dropped the weight back then. And then over the course of 5 years, and in the future, I'll probably show a video. I'm like, holy shit. I mean, 5 years ago, I didn't realize I was that heavy. You don't realize you are sometimes. I know people will make comments on the videos, like, oh, look, even now, someone said to me the other day, oh, you look like a fat Matt Damon. And some people have said I look like Matt Damon before. What's he in that movie? I forget. The Killer. I forget. He's that international spy. Like, someone will put it down below, but I took it as a compliment, but not the fat part. But yeah, I'm like, you bastard. But yeah, that's what you have to hear. But my goal is to. I'm walking. I'm doing a lot of good for my health, and right now I get sometimes. They call it like nerve pain from the scar that I have here. I get like pins and needles, like, oh, sometimes that will bother me. But but I'm not one to like, okay, I got to take an ibuprofen and Tylenol. It really has to bother me, or something has to feel rough. So what am I doing now? I'm living life. I really am, and. I mean, I'm going to put a video out, because I do a couple videos sometimes of like, do something like that's, I think could have a wider audience. Like, I bought a new lawnmower a couple years ago, so I did a review. So we just built a metal shed. We're selling on Whatnot. We're doing things. Sleep is important. I try to at least get 6-7 hours worth of sleep every night. So typically if I go to bed at 2 o'clock, I use a CPAP machine, and I think that's helped me a lot too. My goal is still, I even do intermittent fasting. So there, I'll go 14, 18 hours without eating nothing. And that's supposed to help reset. I don't read too much more on Google because I pretty much have it down for me. Now, what I'm saying might not work for you. Everybody's different. People have diabetes, they have other issues, they're allergic to certain medicine. And for me, what I'm doing is my treatments will work. And, she initially said you'd be on this for 5 years. Does that mean after 5 years I'll stop? No. I ran into a lady at the bank, and she says, "Hey, Pat." And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Yeah, I knew you weren't doing too good." And I feel so much better. I feel so much better than I did even 4 or 5 months ago. And she said, "My mom went through it 13 years ago, but she had chemo." And I never realized there's 5 or 6 different kinds of breast cancer, positive this, triple negative that. And the good news is they're working on a lot of vaccines. There's a lot of things under clinical trials. So there's hope. And, they say that. And my hope is that just keep people alive, and that, will they ever cure it? I don't know. I don't know. I wish they would. They're working on things. But even if you can, just turn something off that give people 20, 30 years, great. That's keeping people alive, even though it's all. And that's the thing with me. Once it metastasizes, once it spreads beyond the original spot, you're always going to be on some sort of treatment. You're always going to be on, so even if another year from now they said, "Oh, you're like basically, we don't see hardly nothing," and you're always going to be, because if you stop, the estrogen is going to start right back up. That other, and unless they come out with a vaccine or something that can blow that up or cut that off, permanently. But I'm okay with that. I just turned 52, and that was the sad part. Worried about my kids. Now, my kids are 23 and 34, and they're fine. They'll be fine. And, I've been with my wife since I'm 16. I've been with my wife for 36 years. And, it's amazing. Time goes so fast. And we take time and people for granted. And I never do. I tell my wife and every day that I love her, and I do. And that was part of the sadness of just her being, alone, and me being gone and not knowing, and then it runs in your head, and I'm not, like, you don't want her to be with nobody else, you don't, it's like, and I know it sounds selfish, because you're like, well, she finds someone that treats her just as good as you. I get it, but that thought, I didn't want those thoughts even in my head, and I had to have a talk with her, and so she came with me actually to a reseller meetup we did in Nashville. We were only there 2 days because her job had a situation and we had to go. So we're going to Florida usually about once a year, and I'm hoping to go next year. But the reselling right now is a little slow, I'll be honest with you. And I have to take my shot. Like, I have to time it around my treatments. So I'm doing good. I'm not out of the woods. I'm not cancer-free, to be clear. My tumors have shrunk tremendously, 50 to 70%. I didn't dig too deep, and it's not spreading absent. And I'm eating healthy. My goal is to drop basically another 30 pounds, 32 pounds roughly, and I will be at the 199 to 200 pound mark, which is amazing because I haven't been that since I'm probably 18, 19 years old. And one day I'd love to, I once in a while will eat a chicken cheesesteak, but I don't eat, I just don't eat, and you say, well, what's red meat got to do with it? Because I read that it's pork and red meat are not good for breast cancer. And I don't know if it's the hormones, which part of the cancer I have is driven by hormones. So I'm trusting in, and it's working for me. And why would I screw that up? So Guys, I do appreciate. One good thing is I know I won't probably need another PET scan for at least 6 months. I'm going to go see the doctor next week. I'm working on getting my cholesterol better and my weight down, which is obviously going to help my heart. And guys, support me watching my reselling videos. If you're just here to watch the cancer video, thank you. Again, I have the t-shirts if you're interested in. I only have 26 of them, $10. Why let them up in the attic? One or two of them are wrinkled a little bit, but they're new with tags. They've never been worn. And if you want to just support me, even buy something from my eBay store. It costs me right now to travel a month is about $200 going back and forth to, because I got to do blood work and the shot and go back. And luckily my insurance covers about 95% of my medical costs. So there's a little bit of a deductible and out of pocket, but the one medicine I'm on is $7,000 a month. And, that's expensive. The sun's coming shaded a little bit. So I think I said everything I wanted to say. If I did miss anything, I'm sorry. Again, this is not a cancer channel. I'm not going to be making monthly videos. That is about 45 minutes talking about it. I think that's a good update. And I did update people on my Facebook about 5 days ago, 400 people that I'm friends with. If you want to follow me on Instagram, not my personal one, on Instagram and Facebook, Patdees the Traveling Picker, I don't really get involved. My personal one is basically some friends. I don't have too much family that I've known for 10, 15 years. Sometimes I get strange requests and it'll be like a picture of a cat. Hey, my name is Larry. Can I be your friend? I'm like, Larry, you don't look like a cat. Sorry, but Larry the cat is not my friend. So, all right, guys, thank you. I got to get these books and head over to UPS. And thank you again. And thank you for supporting me. I just crossed 5,000 subscribers, and I hope to continue to grow the channel. I make about $80 a month from doing this. It's not a lot, but every view, every person that likes and subscribes and supports me here, I greatly do appreciate it. I got to hit the stop button. I will see you again.